Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered, the podcast in which I, your host Jermaine, talks about the mindset and the different things that keep us content creators from, creating content. Today, we're going to start with a recap of last week's episode because this is going to be a continuation of that same topic of forging your own path, what it means to buck the norm and get out of the different beliefs that our parents or society has told us is right for us, and start taking your own path. So last episode, we got into why people stay stuck in the norm. It's a combination of things: the social conditioning, the fear of exile, the people closest to you keeping you in line, and the real cost of playing it safe. We also talked about how stability and safety are not the same thing, and how unfulfilled potential doesn't announce itself. It just shows up as low-grade frustration and what ifs. If you haven't heard that one, go back and check it out. Today, we are picking up right where we left off. So now it's time to talk about what it actually looks like to make the move. So fair warning, this is not a hype session. It's a real conversation about what it takes. Anybody can get pumped up, but what happens when that pump wears off? The move isn't a big dramatic one. It's a series of smaller decisions that compound over time. That's why I'm always telling people to start your journey, start making those videos, because over time they will add up. Most people are waiting to feel ready. That feeling never comes. I'm telling you from somebody who has experienced this his entire life, you don't wait until you're ready. You get ready by building things, by going through the actions, not before. So before you make any move, you need to know exactly what you want. I know that sounds obvious, but it's harder than you can imagine, especially if you spend years doing what was expected. You have to get quiet enough to hear yourself. Most people don't do it because they're too busy. You have to grieve the version of yourself that was trying to fit in. That identity that you created over the years served a purpose, kept you safe, but you're outgrowing it, and letting go is a real process, not a switch you just flip. I remember when I first left corporate America, it took a while to reconfigure my brain to realize that I'm not just a body who has a list of tasks, who knocks those tasks out to help somebody with their bottom line at the end of the day. I had dreams. I had things that I wanted to accomplish, and I had things that I felt would better this world rather than keep it stagnant in that role that I was using. So another big thing, like this starts with self-awareness. You need to be able to analyze the beliefs that you're carrying. Where did they come from? Do you still actually believe them? Also, you need to give yourself permission to question them without feeling like you're portraying someone. Because they are so ingrained in who we are as a person, questioning these beliefs can feel scary. It can feel like you're doing something and moving towards uncertainty. And moving towards that uncertainty is scary. And it's because our brain is built to anticipate what's coming next so it can prepare its safety defenses. If we are deliberately going into the unknown, it's going to cause some mind trips. It's going to cause some self-doubt. You need to be able to recognize this and have the tool set to push past it. So one thing that I wasn't prepared for that I'm going to speak on now, so you are better prepared for it, is the in-between. Nobody prepares you for the in-between. You left the old thing, but you haven't arrived at the new thing yet. You don't have any validation. You don't have any proof of concepts. It's just you and your work. That space can be a terrifying space because everyone around you is saying, hey, you need to go get a job. Hey, you need to put your efforts and focus into this thing. You're trying something that's never been done. That's scary. And of course, again, you're bringing out other people's limiting beliefs. You're bringing out other people's fears when you start moving towards something that you want. That phase is going to test you, and it's supposed to. The people who make it through it are the ones who don't need the applause to keep going. And I think that is another strong indication that, hey, the thing that you're moving towards, if you can do it without applause, if you can do it without recognition, if you can do it without any proof of concept, then you are on the right path. So start small. Small bets before big leaps. You don't have to blow everything up at once. Test the thing. Prove it to yourself in small ways first and then build evidence that it's real. Also, one thing that helped me and continues to help me is you need to find your people because community matters. I used to not think that. I used to think that I could do this all on my own, and that's not the case. You need folks around who help you normalize the unconventional path, who aren't going to look at you sideways for building something different. Having people in your corner who hype you up when you are doing things that are not the traditional path, very, very useful in your success rate. I know it sounds small. I know it sounds like, I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody to do this thing. But I promise you, those little bits of praise and applause when you are going down this path help because your mind will do everything it can to get you to revert. Until you find some success, until you find the thing that proves to your processor that this is the right path, it's going to continue to try to throw up signals and be like, hey, we shouldn't do this. Here's a little bit of anxiety. Here's a little bit of procrastination. The more people you have in your corner to hype you up, the less those distractions will deviate you from your path. And I've said this before, but confidence is something that shows up after you go down the path that you're looking for. Confidence, I'll use content creation, for example, specifically making YouTube videos. This year, I have been successful in making a video a week for my Kryptonite channel. And the confidence came like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was like, oh my God, it's the beginning of April and I've been sustaining this goal to the point where I'm like, why didn't I do this before? Why was it such a challenge to get my mindset into a space where I can be pumping out 2 videos a week, 5 shorts, or actually 10 shorts a week. And like, it's smooth. It doesn't feel abnormal. You cannot think your way into confidence. You move your way into it because actions dissolves doubt every single time. The more actions you can stack up, that doubt is going to seep away to the point where I'm cocky as hell. I have added a music video to my repertoire. I'll be doing it every Monday because the action shattered that doubt that I had in my brain. Consistency is what separates the people who make it from the people who almost did. Not when numbers are up, not when people are watching, but when it's quiet, boring, and nothing's popping off. That's where it's built. You don't need permission. Every piece of content you put out, every episode, every stream, that is a vote for your own vision. I'll say that again. Every piece of content you put out, every episode, every stream, that is a vote of your own vision. The more that you can put up, the more that you can prove to yourself that this is what I want to do, this is going to work, the stronger that vision becomes. Independent creators are rejecting the idea that you need a gatekeeper to have a platform. That is itself an act of going against the norm. Black creators specifically are not just making content, they're building archives, shifting culture, and doing it without getting the credit for it. Ownership is the long game. Your audience, your IP, your brand, that's the generational infrastructure. Don't sleep on that. Talking about the real stuff, doubt, burnout, identity is the work. In a space that rewards highlight reels, be honest, and an act of resistance. There's so many different flavors of content creators out there, and I want to seed the idea, and as in many Black content creators as possible, is you can be original and still shine. I don't think people realize how much money you can make in content creation because they're always chasing, I want to be making $500,000 a month. Like there are some content creators that make $500,000 a month. You don't need that. Like you can make $10,000 a month. That would be perfectly fine. You can make $5,000 a month and that would be perfectly fine. The goal is not to become super rich off of content creation. The goal is to have a sustainable life through your efforts in content creation. And a sustainable life is now outside of reality when it comes to this. Stepping outside the norm isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily recommitment. Some days it's easy. Most days it's not. You keep going anyways. People who changed their lives didn't wait until they felt ready. They moved and built readiness through the action itself. The norm was always going to be there. You can always go back to it. But your unlived potential has an expiration date. What is the one thing you've been holding back on because it felt abnormal or it didn't feel normal? Start there. Just one thing. That's your move. That's your next move. Share this podcast, leave a review, and if there's anything in these 2 episodes that hit, send a voice message through the link in the description. I want to hear from you. I know this one was a nice and short and sweet one, but it's really just you being confident enough to move towards your goal. Anything that tells you that you need to stop is a lie, and it's just trying to keep you safe. I think that's the biggest takeaway that I can give anyone. If the idea popped in your head, it is on you to chase after that idea. It doesn't matter what it is, because if you think it is a possibility. Anything that comes after that is negative or trying to distract you from doing it is a lie that your processor is telling you to keep you safe, because it doesn't have the data to be like, oh, you want to do this and it's going to equal X, Y, and Z. You need to dream of those things. You need to focus on what you want out of this rather than the things that can go wrong. Your processor is going to handle the things that can't go wrong. It's going to be on you, your conscious mind, to remind it to be like, no, this is going to work out. This is going to be amazing. This is why I want to do it. And put all your effort and your thought processes into those future potentials. In an age where anything is possible, and I truly believe that. I think that's another thing that keeps me on this path. I believe that anything whatsoever is possible, good or bad. So if you start thinking about, man, I have a 4-hour drive coming up this week, I hope I don't get in a car accident, and you just focus on being safe and thinking, oh, I need to make sure I'm awake and make sure that, oh, I hope there's no traffic. If you're thinking about all those things for your drive, those are the things that are going to manifest itself in your reality, because you're going to notice it. Even if normally this wouldn't be traffic. My car stopped for 5 seconds, but in your brain, the one that doesn't want to be in traffic, it's gonna be like, oh no, the car stopped. I'm in traffic. This is bullshit. And then you just start diving down that negative rabbit hole. Or you can focus on why you're taking a trip, what you're going to do when you get there. And I promise you that 4-hour drive is going to be cake. Like, I actually do have a 4-hour drive this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it. I got a audio book that I've been listening to that I can't wait to jump into. I just got my car fixed, so it's driving nice and smooth. So I can't wait to be in my car, AC blasting, sunroof back, just chilling on my way to see the family at this awesome ass resort that we're going to be staying at. It's going to be a fun time. I could focus on the things that I don't want to happen, but what's the fun in that? All that's going to do is affect my energy now in the present, affect my energy in the future when I'm in my car. And then when I finally do get to the resort, I'm going to have all this anxious energy that I need to dispel of before I meet up with the family. Fuck that. I'm going in knowing this is going to be an amazing time, and I'm excited for it. And that's how you got to get with your content creation. Simple as that. That's how you got to get with anything that you are creatively putting your mind to. Be excited about it. Know that this is the path that you have chosen, and that this is the path that you want to be on. There's no beliefs or storytelling from loved ones or TV or society telling you that you need to do something. This is something that you decided for yourself. And with that, nothing's going to stop you except for yourself. Please keep that in mind. Other than that, like I always say, share the podcast with somebody who needs to hear this information. And if you do have a message that you want to give out to the podcast, hit that link in the description of this show, or find a way to interact with me. I think I'll put my socials in the description, so you can hit me up on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube, and we can get this conversation started. Other than that, thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And as always, protect your mental, keep creating content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.